GetLoveDreamingBeach.com. So it's 3:23 p.m. My kids are going to be home in about an hour and a half, and only just to quickly pack their overnight bag to go with their dad. I had been packing their bag for them every week, and I've been telling them, you guys have to do it Thursday night or when you get home, because I got too much shit to do to be doing your shit. But I have been making sure to wash some laundry, so I just went down to wash some laundry. And I just wanted to add, before I close this video out, I just want to add that what I do find troubling is the way the people who are pro-Karen seem to behave. Like, I have said that already in this video, but one of the reasons I made my video titled Karen Reed might be guilty, I might be the only one who thinks so. I made it for members only, in part because it's nice to share stuff for members and for Patreon, because I want to show you my appreciation and give you something besides just the free stuff, but also in part because it's like you put yourself in this position of being attacked, and I just find that really reprehensible, to be honest. I feel that getting angry because somebody has a different perspective is just low level mentality, you know? People see things differently. That's why we have trials. That's why we have the defense and the prosecution. That's why there's evidence. That's why it takes this long for something this complex. That's why it's going to take 6 to 8 weeks, if not longer. Although I don't know. I have a feeling it's not going to take as long, and I think there's a lot of witnesses this time that are not going to testify that testified the first time. And I think that Brennan, the Commonwealth prosecutor, has a much more concise questioning style, more simple to the point style than the what if any lollygagging Lolly, who took forever to get through even the most easiest things. And I think that maybe Brennan is going to cut through a lot of the bullshit and get right to the point, which is what I'm saying. Like, during the in-between, watching a lot of lawyers talk about this and that, and talk about how, oh, these so-called jurors came forward, supposedly. First they said like 3 jurors came forward and said that they had been unanimous on counts 1 and 3, that she was not guilty. But then it came out that it actually wasn't 3 jurors who came forward. It was like somebody who knew somebody that was a juror said, hey, this person I know who's a juror told me that this is what happened. And then that person came forward. And then there was like 2 people like that. It was like, I heard somebody who said that somebody said. And then there might have been 1 juror. I think there was 1 juror who came forward who is now on Karen's defense team as a lawyer or something, which is very fucking weird and bizarre. But the judge allowed it. The so-called incredibly so biased judge is allowing that because, you know, I don't think I think she is biased. I do agree with that, but I don't know if the bias is to the point where it's so utterly corrupt that Karen will never get a fair trial. I don't see it that way. And what I perceived, which again, I could be wrong, but what I perceived the first time around was that her bias, which does make her biased, and that's, a judge should not be biased, but I did perceive that she thinks Karen is guilty, and she thinks that the defense is making a whole bunch of fucking issues and bullshit and accusing a whole lot of people. Again, bringing it back to what I said at some point in this video and yesterday and other videos. In order to believe that Karen is innocent, it's like, is one person lying? Or are 45, and I don't know if 45 is the right number, but it's like all the cops, all the EMT, all the friends, all the neighbors, like literally every single person, every single witness that the prosecution is bringing out is lying and framing and covering up and making stuff up. And I'm not saying it's utterly impossible. I'm saying, to me, there's 2 things that which one is much more unlikely, which one has a lot more reasonable doubt. To me, it's that 45 people conspired to frame one incredibly unlikable woman one woman who has weird alcoholic math calculations, which allows her to calculate 7 drinks down to 4, and somebody who is not apologetic about driving drunk. Like, well, yeah, it was fuzzy because of the drinking, but I was driving slow. It was fine. Like, how many people who've actually killed someone have said that? I was driving slow though. I was being extra careful. Yeah, I was drunk. I was buzzed. I probably would have been over the legal limit. For sure. Faux show. But, it's okay. In that impaired state, I made the decision to drive. And you know what? Hey, the cops were drinking and driving too. So therefore, I'm fine, And it's like, people are like, the cops were drinking and driving, so therefore it's okay. Like, no, they should be held accountable for the fucking shit they did. They were drinking and driving on the job, then they should have to pay. They should have to be fired, or they should be suspended, or whatever the fucking case is. Trooper Proctor was fired. That's the appropriate thing to do. Does his hands on the evidence destroy it enough to make it so that she will never be found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt? I do think that that's probably the most likely situation. That there will be people like me who actually believe that she was drunk enough to have either clipped him by accident, or maybe in that one moment was just like, fuck you, bitch. Zoom home, and then as she's waking up at something in the morning, realizing, did I clip that bitch? Could I have hit him? Did I hit him? Because where in the world would did I hit him come from, except for her own fuzzy, buzzy, boozy ass memory that, oh, maybe I did clip him. I'm going to say he went in the house, though. If I say he went in the house, that'll be better. And then people are also like, how could none of them have come out? All these cops, and they didn't come out? They didn't come out at 4, 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning? When they were asleep, probably? Should they have woken up? Is it absolutely unbelievable that something would happen outside your house and you're sleeping and you don't know it? I mean, I don't think that's unbelievable. Did they have sirens blasting? Were there sirens blasting? I'm trying to remember from the videos that we did see. I do remember hearing the windshield wipers going back and forth, which sounded pretty loud, but I don't remember hearing any sirens blaring. Maybe I'm wrong. I am willing to acknowledge that I may not have perceived everything the first time. I'm watching the trial. I am listening to lawyers analyze it. I'm listening to the people who say, there's some people who are like, Paul is estranged from his mom, and John was estranged from his mom. And I looked into that, and, what the results I found so far showed that the people who are saying that it's like internet rumors with no actual facts. So it's like, just like when people watch Carrie Roberts or Jen McCabe and they're like, she's so guilty, she's such a liar. And it's like, well, maybe she's just really fucking pissed off and annoyed. Like, maybe their attitudes are not coming from the fact that they're lying murderers who are hiding and covering up and conspiring to protect themselves. Maybe, just maybe, they lost a friend who they believe was killed by his crazy fucking girlfriend, who then turned around and blamed all of them when they were living their lives, minding their own fucking business, and now this man is dead, and these kids have gone through this other tragedy, and they've all been dragged in with their and fingers pointed at them. And some of them are not the greatest, and some of them did stuff that wasn't great. But does that make them the one who hit him or killed him and put him there? You got to prove it. You got to prove it. That's all I'm saying. And the idea that all these people conspired and did this thing that they had no reason to do, and then left him there on their own front lawn, and then just stayed in a house. Like, what? That does not make any sense. The idea that they were out drinking late and they wanted to get together, and they did get together and they drank some more, and some shit happened that they weren't aware of, and then they woke up and they were like, what the fuck? That seems more real to me. But we'll find out. I'm going to find out. I'm watching the trial. So I just got some new shirts and stuff that I purchased. I'm going to open them up and talk a little bit about Karen Read. So I was just watching a video on Court TV where they were showing images they took of Karen Read's tail light. They took the picture of the reconstructed tail light. They took pictures from the scene. And it looked like to me that the tail light was already broken in that big chunk. And that, to me, it seemed like evidence that no, Trooper Proctor did not destroy it more. And yet again, another thing that made me feel like she is guilty. Do I think that she hit him on purpose, like with the intention of killing him? That, I have not been convinced of that. I have been convinced of aggravated manslaughter because she was drunk and that she hit him with her vehicle. Okay, so there were people in the chat, as usual, who are very, very, this is for my kids, who are very, very pro Karen. And I have to say that more and more, it's clear to me that pro Karen people are kind of unhinged. They really are. And I'm sorry, like, I think that she hit him. I think that that's the only thing that makes any sense. However, I do also believe that the investigation was completely botched and that it's very possible that they're just not going to be able to prove it. Oh, this one is nice. This one I was not sure about. This one, actually, I already bought a bunch, and then I loved this shirt so much that I decided I have to. They were on sale. I paid like, this is like a $40 shirt. Well, they don't list the price, I guess, because they change it all the time. But they had this showing as like a $39.99 shirt, and then I got it for like $22, but I got a couple of them for like $16. But anyway, as I was saying, I agree that Trooper Proctor was completely unprofessional. He should have been fired, and how he botched the investigation and not interviewing the people in the house and all of the things like that, I think very, very well may end up, see how they're slightly different, may end up being the reason why there's too much reasonable doubt. Like, I think that that is reasonable. I don't think it's unhinged to say there's really reasonable doubt. But what also bothers me a lot is that people who are very pro-Karen, they insist that those ARCA witnesses said there's absolutely no way that he could have been hit by an SUV. And they cling to this so-called evidence. This is really nice too. They cling to the so-called belief that the ARCA witnesses said there's no way that he could have been hit by an SUV. And that's actually not true. I made a whole entire video, which is called "She Could Have Nudged Him," which is verbatim what Andrew Rentschler, one of the ARCA witnesses, said. And I said in the video, I got some large, I got some extra large. I like them extra large because I like them to be kind of big and loose. I said this one was inspired by a shirt that I saw Don Lemon wearing one day, and I was like, oh my God, I love it. It was, it's like it's green and yellow. So this isn't exactly the one he had on, but it was inspired by, I looked for it like that for him, because of him, I mean. And then the last one's very American. Oh wait, I have this shirt, this cute shirt, which looks like a transparent PNG file. I think that's kind of cute. But he literally said she could have nudged him, and I said in the video, That is such a biased way. I'm getting a text. Silenced unknown call. It was so biased of him to say that because Nudge, like, why is he putting this really gentle, soft, fuzzy way of framing that she could have hit him with her SUV, but if she did, it was so gentle. It was a nudge. Sorry, an error. Fuck. I don't know. I think it was a spam call. And anyway, I just realized that I hope the audio is coming through right on this video because the phone was kind of sitting on my bed, like inside the sheet. So anyway, here's my very American looking shirt. So it's just kind of crazy to me, like, people who are pro Karen, in order to believe Karen, it's like, the way I look at it, you have to believe one person is lying, Karen, or in order to believe Karen is innocent, you have to believe like 45 people are lying. So one person is lying, Karen, who was drunk. She has weird alcoholic math dividing how many drinks she drank to make 7 drinks sound like 4 drinks. Even though with her math, it should really have been 3.5 drinks. But then she claimed she didn't even drink the last of them. So, I don't know. And then somebody else pointed out in those very terrible videos of her where she comes across extremely unlikable and very abrasive. And a few people pointed out, and she didn't seem to have one speck of sadness over John. Like, it's just not giving heartbroken. It's giving like, ooh, I'm extremely unlikable. Probably guilty because I sound guilty. There was a clip where she was talking about, could I have clipped him? Could I have clipped him in the knee or something? Maybe. Like, what? Okay, so she's literally admitting in an interview that maybe she could have clipped him. He says it's kind of cute. I don't know. I always wash my new things before I ever wear them. You have to wash. It's gross not to wash stuff. Oh yeah, and this one last shirt. So Andrew Rentschler, the ARCA witness, the accident reconstructionist, the FBI hired expert, and people are so insistent. Like, they said it's not possible. There's no way possible. It's utterly impossible. Well, that's actually just not true. So I was commenting on this video, and I'm like, I'm probably the only person in the world. I made a video, but I shared it for Patreon members and YouTube members only, and it's called Karen Reed Might Be Guilty. I might be the only person who thinks so. And then I said in the chat of the video I was watching, Court TV, that was like, who broke Karen's taillight, which really made it look like Karen broke it when she hit John. Again, there's that clip where it looks like she might have clipped his car, but to me, if you look really closely, you see that she didn't. Or maybe, like, I don't know, not enough to, like, crack her taillight. But anyway, that's my opinion. That's what this is all. My opinion. And I'm watching the trial because I haven't actually made a decision yet. I know that for many people, they've already made up their mind. Like this person who was commenting, and I said, Andrew Rentschler, the ARCA witness, did admit on the stand she could have nudged him. And she said, well, I don't know if it was a she. The person responding back to me said, that's not true. And I said, it absolutely is true. I literally have a screen recording of the trial where he says it. I made a whole video about it. Screen recording, verbatim. It's not something that I'm making up. I'm not making it up. Like, y'all motherfuckers, you are making up something that's not true. You guys are, I'm so passionate. I'm like, yeah. Why are you yelling? It's like the clip from the Mark Thompson show that he always drops. Why are you yelling? This is very cute. So yes, I am passionate. I'm passionate about it because I don't know. I just find it so irksome. Like I was saying in the video that I made, which I shared for Patreon members only and YouTube members. Again, I just don't understand why people are so gung ho pro Karen. Like, what is it about her? Like, I get it. Okay, some people believe that the co-ops are corrupt. The co-ops are corrupt. The judge is corrupt. The EMS people are corrupt. The Alberts are corrupt. You hate Jen McCabe. You think Jen McCabe is corrupt. You think Kerry Roberts is corrupt. You think Colin Alberts, the teenager, that he's a murderer. You think Brian Higgins is corrupt. Brian Higgins, you know, maybe he was certainly not a good friend, although I will say that he was the voice of reason. It seemed to me as if he did actually like Karen Reed, and yet he also liked his friend John. And he was like, well, I don't get it. Like, why are you... And this is what I'm remembering from the first trial. During their texts exchanges while, like, she's trying to get something, you know... I got a bruise. Oh, I banged my arm probably on a door. And Brian is asking Karen, like, well, I thought you guys were happy. I thought you guys were, like, together. And even said, like, does John know that you're, like, dating other people? You know, like, he was kind of like, what's going on? He was into her, but he was also like, well, John is my friend. And, you know, this one is very cool. This is my Don Lemon inspired shirt. Let's see. There. They definitely need to be washed. They definitely have that factory smell or whatever you call it, the warehouse. And then this one. So, you know, I'm just saying that I'm open to accepting that maybe some evidence is going to come out this time, and I'm just going to be mind blown, like, wow, they really made me realize, like, there's no way she could have done this. But everything that I remember and everything I've seen so far seems to me to point to the only way that he could have ended up there dead on the ground is if she hit him when she was dropping him off and she was pissed and she pulled away. It makes no sense in any way whatsoever that a bunch of cops would beat up and kill a man and drag him out onto their own front lawn and leave him there. Like, how does that make any sense? Where's the evidence of it? You're telling me that all of this happened and they managed to hide every single speck and shred of evidence of it, and now all we have left is like, what happened? Like, I don't know. I'm just not believing it. Like, I think that Trooper Proctor was corrupt as fuck and obviously problematic, and I kind of had the vibe like he thought this bitch is guilty. This is super cute. And, you know, fuck her and fuck protocol and fuck the right thing to do. And yeah, that's why that bitch is fired. And I don't know. Ultimately, I do believe that my baby's daddy texting about, well, he had a field trip. He's just checking pickup time. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Well, now the motherfucker's next door doing some shit. My landlord owned my house, and then during the 8 years I've been here, at some point she bought the neighbor's house and then got divorced and had to sell them both, and then she sold them to two different people. And luckily the guy who bought my house, or the woman, I don't even know who it was actually, just is as an investment. And the neighbor, there was this family that lived there, but the kids moved out. They were going to college, and the parents moved. They moved it out, which is great for them. Now they can do the whole thing all over and triple the rent. But anyway, so there's construction happening as they fucking redo it. So back to Karen Reed and what I was saying, and I am open. This is cute. I am open to the I just really want to compare these two. I'm open to the possibility. So I really actually would be shocked if they end up deciding that yes, she's guilty. Not because I don't think she's guilty, but because I just think that it's going to be really hard to convince 12 people that with all the problems in the investigation and all the questions and all the reasonable doubt and all the unanswered questions and the solo cups in the snow and the fucking the leaf blower, you leaf blowed evidence? Like what? Okay, who does that? So for those facts alone, she may end up walking. But what I do believe is that what I think is possible is that she's going to get away with murder. And she's going to walk because everything about how they did it was so bad that they're not going to be able to prove it. But what I do not believe is that Brian Higgins was so crazed for Karen Reed that he would beat the fuck to death. He would beat John O'Keefe to death. Like, that is just not what came across in those text messages. It didn't sound like a guy who was like raging in love with her, who was like, I will do anything for you. I'll kill your man too. This is cute. No, I just don't get that. I get a guy who's like, well, I really like you, but to be honest, how'd you get my number? He literally said that to her. How'd you get my number? And like, why are you texting me? Don't you have a man? Don't you have a man? What you up to? He was trying to suss her out. He was suspicious. He was like, this girl, something's up. This ain't right. She's trying to trap me or something. She's trying to get me in trouble. She's trying to make her man jealous. Then she kissed him. Remember? Do you remember that? You maybe don't remember that. So all these people out here who are like so pro Karen Reed, you're pro cheating and lying. You're pro that. You're pro, and then they want to like villainize John. You're pro blaming the victim. There's zero evidence that John was cheating. There's zero evidence that John was a womanizer. This is the point that I wanted to make. People are calling John a user, saying that he was using her as a glorified babysitter. But if that was true, if he was using her as a glorified babysitter, then why would he care? Why would he be mad about her spending money on him? Right? Because if he's using her, usually people who are using people want to squeeze everything they can out of them. And if she's splurging on the kids and buying things, this is cute, and he was using her, then he would probably be real happy about that because that's less money he has to spend. Less shopping he has to do. Less time he has to spend with the kids. If she's taking them to go buy shoes or to do whatever, then that makes it easier on him, right? But instead he was upset about it. He was explaining to her why it bothered him, saying, I always end up being the bad guy because I'm trying to raise them with some boundaries and everybody else always spoils them because, I'm paraphrasing, because they're orphans and it was really tragic. It was like a double tragedy. And then he stepped in and people in the town and the family and the friends, of course, are going to be like these poor kids and spoil them. And so that's what he was explaining. That's what I got out of the text messages. And somehow other people got out of the text messages that he's using her. But if he's using her, why would he be mad that she's spending money on them? And then, why would he agree? Like, well, it is kind of stressful when it's all of them. And why would he keep saying, it just doesn't give me the vibes that he was a user. I got the sense that he went through a tragedy. He lost his sister, which is tragic. Then he was going to step in and help his brother-in-law. And then 2 months after he lost his sister, he lost his brother-in-law, and that was tragic. And then within the face of tragedy, he decides to step in and become a dad of a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old. And then, okay, so John's sister and brother-in-law died in 2013 when the kids were 3 and 6. Okay, so 7 years into him being a dad, 7 years, he met Karen Reed. The kids were 10 and 13. So when his niece and nephew were 3 and 6, he took custody, he adopted them, he became their legal guardian, their dad. And he, for 7 full years, was raising them as a single dad. He may have dated other women during that time. And then in 2020, he meets Karen, and the children have grown from 3 years old and 6 years old to 10 years old and 13 years old. So they've already established for more than twice their lives, more than half of their lives at that point. John had been their dad. Okay. So he had probably been trying to juggle gifts and all these things that other people would give. And then he was trying to be the stable, have boundaries and teach them good lessons kinds of things. Okay. And then here she comes, and she's wealthy, and she's just throwing money around at them. And she doesn't care about the financial disparity, I guess, between them, but he does. And so the whole point that I'm getting at is that it really fucking bothers me. It irks me that these pro-Karen people want to say he was using her when that does not seem to be the case at all. In fact, he had a very strong network of support, people who cared about the children, who had the children were friends with, like Kerry Roberts was one of them. And it didn't seem that Karen stepped into this full network of support for John and the children with appreciation, but with jealousy and vindictiveness, and then being like somebody else, they should be doing more. Grandma and grandpa and the other brothers should be doing more, even though he made the decision to take it on. Like, how dare she tell him that he's not allowed? Like, she didn't say it in those words. She tried to, how people give you these backhanded compliments, or they make it sound like they're trying to support you, but they're actually sabotaging you. Your mom and your dad and your brother, they should be stepping in to help you. And I'm telling you that because I love you and I want to support you, when you're actually undermining what the fuck everybody has already agreed upon. He was their dad. He was a primary caregiver. And that's what he decided. That's what he wanted to do. His mom testified just the other day. John decided that he wanted to step up and be the guy. He wanted to be the guy. Okay? So how dare she decide that he, no, I want you more to myself. It's rather inconvenient, John, that you got these fucking kids. I didn't sign up for this. Which actually, yes, you did. Because if you start dating a single parent, no matter what the circumstances are, if you start to date a single parent, you signed up for this. And if you didn't sign up for this, then you shouldn't have fucking been jerking him along. Either you signed up for it because that's what I'm saying. He had been their dad for a whole full 7 years when she stepped into the picture. So she knew what she was getting into. So this whole, well, I didn't want to have kids and I wasn't prepared for all this, then why the fuck were you dating the man for 2 years while trying to cheat on him behind his back? So anyway, I have no problems being unpopular. My low subscriber count shows you that. But no, for really, on that note, please subscribe. It really does help. It will help grow my channel. It will help to grow the community. My community is not going to be an echo chamber. As much as I love Emily D. Baker, and I'm really turned off on Carl now, Carl Steinbeck, because what I don't like is a place where you feel like you're going to be attacked for even suggesting that you might think that maybe she might actually have hit that man. And in Karen, in Emily's chat, Emily D. Baker's chat, when it comes to talking about how, well, I might actually think that she might actually have hit him. My God. I mean, there was this one girl, one person yesterday was saying, like, Karen is unlikable and she's a spoiled brat and, her daddy's rich and something like that, okay? And then somebody's like, you troll, get out of here, you troll. Like, oh my God, you're the troll. And that's what I'm saying, like today in the chat, and somebody's just like blindly blabbing at me, like, they said that there was no way that he could have been hit by a car. And I'm like, that's actually not what they said. And then she's like, you're wrong. And I'm like, no, I'm not wrong. Like, I have a video of them saying it, of the guy saying it on the stand, like under oath. He testified. Yes, she could have nudged him with her SUV. Yes, he literally said it. And just because he said it in a way that made it seem biased and less likely, and even if he said, well, it is a lot less likely than she did it, but it still could have happened, to stand up there and to be on a soapbox preaching that there's no way that it could have happened, and the experts said it's no way, and that's not what they said. You're misrepresenting the truth. You may feel passionately about it, and you may believe there's no way, but that's not what the experts said. That's my point is. Don't lie. If your position is so strong, you don't need to omit the truth. You don't need to exaggerate. You don't need, like I am saying, they didn't give numbers or percentages. They didn't say it's a 1% chance she could have nudged him and a 99% chance that she didn't nudge him. But even if they had said that, which they didn't, even if they said, basically the majority percent of the chances are no, it doesn't look like he got hit by a car, but there is the possibility. It was icy. And this person is like, there was nothing that he could have hit. It was a lawn. I'm like, but it was freezing cold. It was snowy. There could have been ice. There could have been rocks. And then she's like, I'm saying she, I don't know if it's a she. There's no rocks on my lawn. Like, what? Like, that's your evidence? That's your evidence that it was just grass? Like, it was snowing. It was freezing cold. It was icy. It's like Boston. He could, like, and you don't know what position he was standing in. You don't know if he was leaning over. You don't know if he was going this way. You don't know if he was going that way. She's like, he would have gotten hit and he would have gone like this place. Like, wow, you are like, obviously you have a video and you have a video of what happened because you're talking about it as if you were there and you saw it. Like that, like if there was an actual video, that's what one guy said on the thing. He's like, well, I think the smoking gun would be a video of it happening. Like, if that was the standard of evidence, that we had to see a video of it happening, most people who get convicted would never get convicted, because that's not the fucking standard of proof. I need to see a video of it happen or it didn't happen. Like, are you fucking kidding me? That is insane. And then people are like, there's no way she could have gone 24 miles per hour backward, even though that's what the experts said. So again, it's like, these people who seem super pro Karen also seem to sort of cherry pick what they cherry picked out the best absolute potential possible evidence to make their case, and they're like omitting and hiding, and they're like, no, they never said that. That's not true. They didn't say that. I'm like, I have it on a video of him saying it on the stand under oath. Well, it's just not true. You need to do your research. Like, okay, I literally did do my research. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying, because I watched the trial and I watched hours of testimony, and I was like, oh my God, he just said it. Yeah, she could have nudged him. Might be a low chance, but yeah. So anyway, watch the trial, make your own opinion, make your own damn sandwiches, and you're unique just like everybody else. See See you in the next one. Don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you never miss another one. Join me on my YouTube channel and Patreon and my website, catlovedreamingpeach.com. Same name, all platforms. And I'll see you there or here on TikTok. Okay, bye. Ciao. catlovedreamingpeach.com